this, and let's get going.
For a man of your years, you're looking pretty good, Jack.
No.
And I do jump a lot. I don't jump as much during the fights, but you're going to notice it. It's
Yep.
going to be excessive.
Yeah, no, and I'll call it out, but it may or may not be the most important thing. It's something that's somewhat useful to work on because you'll be doing it while rotating, and you'll be doing it while rotating through places that you
And
don't realize
peeking
are
your head
dangerous.
over cover that's
Exactly.
blocking.
Exactly. You do jump a lot, okay? So,
Yep.
I'm assuming you're gonna walk up left side here, or are you pushing core? I really don't want you to
walking
push
up.
here. Okay, so here we are, and we have a bit of a decision to make. If you can go this way, but like, is Hog plus Sigma ever gonna break a Reinhardt or even an Orisa or like a Samajek, anything like that
Holding
head
that
on?
spot, not a chance. No.
Right.
I'm literally going here to see who's up there, and then I was thinking I was going to rotate if it looked rough.
Okay, so you're just scattering. Cool.
Yeah. Helping our Sig, making sure he doesn't go into maybe a hook right off the rip.
Sure. Okay. You
And now
tell
I
me.
should be rotating.
You should already be leaving. Exactly. Good. And I'm
And now I'm
honestly a
walking
little
through.
worried about having gone this way in the first place because I kind of consider this first fight how do I want to put this? It's only going to be so long. Like, this first fight especially is one of those of you have everyone alive at this moment in time,
Mhm.
and I know someone is going to feed. It might be on the other team, it might be on my team, but what you're doing isn't increasing the odds that the other team can feed right now, and your team could go feed somewhere. Maybe it's
And
here,
it's
maybe
not
it's somewhere else.
decreasing our feed.
I mean, it
ability.
might be. It
Okay.
might be if you get hooked, for example, you're more likely to survive than your Sigma. So maybe it
Mhm.
decreases your team slightly. But I'd much rather be going, hey, my team's going here, and I'm gonna be like 3 seconds late,
Bottom.
crouch walking over here, and then show up and look for something that I can get. Because now my team has only had 3 seconds to potentially feed, versus your
Mhm.
team's gonna have a good 15 seconds to try to feed here. And it's unfortunate
And
to
they'll-
think of it like that, but
Yeah. No, it's 100% the case, though. And
Right.
if I'm down there, I draw attention down there. I maybe peel off a couple angles off the actual team rotate.
potentially,
sense.
exactly.
Yeah. And would you say first fight is always a good time just to rip right off with a flank? Because
I
they
would.
don't even know you have hog yet.
Yeah, I would. You've got high probability because they're not even recognize that you have hog yet. And the truth is, I really pretty much never want to stack with my Sigma. If I'm stacking with my Sigma, it's because we're rotating through a specific spot on offense before we split. Like, you two being
Okay.
stacked here is fine because you're rotating through a spot together. Or you might be stacked here because you've chosen someone else is going this way, and you're going,
Yeah.
eventually Sigma's going to get over here and I'm going to play main, or vice versa, but that lane isn't open yet, so I'm going to sort of stack as we rotate to get to a part where one of us can control this. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Cool.
And you're going to notice that a lot in this, that I'm stacking with main then.
Okay.
Just telling you beforehand.
Yep, no problem. Okay.
Hook here, and I'm dead.
Oh, yeah, he's going to cancel the Wraith. You're in trouble. Okay, so obviously he was able to go take this off angle, do work. Obviously, if you've taken a different route, now I assume, did he flank through
He
this?
was hiding on the bottom, so if I
Yeah.
had gone bottom, I would have encountered him and probably murdered him with hook.
Potentially. I mean, he can, at the very least, you stop him by taking different angles. This is sort of the thing. Like, if you go and take different routes, you stop people from taking those routes against you, or you meet them in those routes, and now it's a battle over that route, and whoever wins that route gets access to behind the opponent. So you aren't only helping your team win by like, yes, I'm going to go get a pick from here, you're also helping in the sense of, well, no, I mean,
Denying
Reaper
the
could have
angle.
still come around this way, but I've decreased the odds that he came through. That he got to us because I blocked one of those routes by going it myself.
Yep,
Okay,
makes
cool.
sense. Here, should I be aiming any higher, or would you say neck area is about right for Reaper?
Neck area is going to be right for this. I know the Jack-o'-lantern looks like he has a larger head than he does, but,
Yeah.
we'll take the neck area on this.
Okay.
Ultimately, you were doomed as soon as he,
As
Wraith
soon as I
canceled
missed
your
that hook
reload.
main
Yeah,
and then
it's
walked
like-
back and saw Reaper with
Yeah.
full ammo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You basically had to hit a great right click, and it was like, oh, you don't have hook and you're reloading? Bye. But,
Yeah, pretty much.
The cut. Merry Christmas.
What are you thinking?
Okay. You hear him. Great.
This is my will.
Waiting for team here, and I think I'm gonna go top again.
Okay. A little unfortunate. So I look at this, and again, this could be okay if we thought we could. Maybe we think we can brute force this. Like if they were really split and holding 6 different lanes, and you went, no, we're gonna brute force our way through one lane. It would usually be an outside lane, not sort of this middle lane that this
choke.
is. Right,
Yeah.
right, that sort of thing. But usually your answer is going to be we're just going to challenge multiple lanes and we'll win on one of the lanes. And you as Roadhog, you're one of the best lane challengers, right? Like when you think of people who are good in the lane, there's Roadhog, there's Tracer, there's Kree. Like those are the sorts of heroes. Well, you're one of the best.
Yeah.
Like if you run into a Winston trying to battle for a lane, you're going to be like, oh sweet, or a Genji, yeah, I don't really care. You got it.
I got the enemy.
By now, I should 100% have left.
Yeah,
Shouldn't be
there's
walking through.
no reason for you to be here, exactly.
Just feeding all charge.
Yep. And now we're going to create a tough situation where, well, fortunately somehow no one has ults. That's a little surprising at this point in the match. Yeah.
And I walk back through on half HP without heal.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
No, you back out with breather. You back out with breather, but you're purple, doesn't work, and now you're pushing in with nothing. Like there's absolutely this is not a push cycle for you. I get
This
that you're
should
trying
be a
to
rotate.
Right. This is exactly perfect for a rotate because you're like, hey, I'm waiting on cooldowns. I don't have full health. At this point, I'm just going to walk out here, grab this Mega on my way through, and is there something I can grab from here? Like, this is just
Yeah,
what
I'm
we're
a
doing.
walking out battery right now, so I may as well keep my fat face away.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he uses that.
All in here. Hello.
Nano boost is charging.
So here is when I should start thinking about Shatter, right? It's been about 2 fights, he hasn't used it.
Yeah, but Shatter's not terribly high on the list of things I need to counter. Like, you guys
Okay.
have a Sigma. Shatter is really yes, it's good if you interrupt a Shatter with your hook, don't get me wrong, but it's not so good that I'm going to start seriously holding my hook. If I
You're not going to play around the Rhine just to be ready.
Exactly. I start thinking about that more with some ults that are a little more important or when we really don't have any other answers to it. Like, I think about Shatter and I go, well, we do have a Sigma shield. People do have cover. Like, yes, if
We
we're
have
all...
Cove.
I'm not too worried about the Shatter. Now, I might be
Okay.
more worried about, say, Blossom, except that, I might be more worried about Blossom as an ult, that, oh, hey, we don't have an answer to Blossom, I potentially need to counter that. We sort of have an answer with Sigma's Shift, but it's not great. We have an answer with Sleep Dart, but those are the sort of things I might start thinking about a little bit more. The reality here, though, is I'm pretty comfortable with what we've got. So,
Okay.
there we go. We're not going to push mid. We're please not going to push... Okay, good. Leave! Why would you keep walking forward? So you go for this, boom. Okay, you could think, hey, I'm going to stand here and left click for 1 second, but the reality is I'm probably ready to already turn and just walk away. You got your
Just
parting...
to get a new angle. I did what I wanted.
Right, you got your parting pick, you helped cover your teammates getting out here, and now you guys are going to have tempo, and these guys are stacked pretty heavy here. I don't want you to 1v3 them. I want you to go, let me find somewhere else that's softer. And also, if these guys chase you out as you're leaving, well, I hope your team is smart enough to be going somewhere else and not fighting here. But, what... Exactly. You got what you wanted. You got your
Okay.
pick, and this is pick and leave type scenario.
It's okay, I got 8 seconds to chill now. Let's get a new angle.
Right, you got it. You're kind of in a weak situation right now, and yes, you're up 1, but your hook's on cooldown. So you can push, you can win off of that type of situation, but this isn't a great one because your whole team just ran, right? So I expect that your whole team isn't in great fighting shape, that they've used some cooldowns, etc., that sort of thing. Okay.
Surrender to my
Sure.
And again, should be leaving, not walking. Or I guess
No,
we
at
have
this
Cove
point
up.
you walk. At this point you
Yeah.
walk, Ko is going, and they're being pushed back. You sort of weathered the storm that was their Shatter and their beat with Ko, and now they're sort of feeling weak, plus their Reinhardt's gone down.
Okay.
Okay.
Kinda
I'm
ignored
probably not
Lucio
really
here.
willing to walk on her. Like, I see this going,
Mhm.
and she's bad. She's deciding to shoot your Sigma here, which is lovely and all. She's trying to eliminate your Sigma. I would just ramp off of you. You literally can't shoot her, and she knows it.
Okay.
I would just ramp off you in her shoes, and then I'd be flick over to the Sigma and delete him. Because you see how this works, where you've created this
Yeah.
situation. You're right in her face using breather.
Within beam range, she could be charging beam off me, getting into a really strong
Exact.
DPS section, and then just roll our team from there.
Exactly. So what should you be doing instead? You drop here, you do your whole hog. That's great. She has her thing. You might want to hit the right click here. You decide, oh, this is happening. I need to breather. Okay, if we need
We
to
have
breather,
like 4 here. Should I be just walking left and trying to stagger the spawns coming back? Or
You-
would I be doing something else?
you could do that. You could try to stagger the spawns that are coming back. You could go, hey, this is fine. I want to walk over here. I'd probably just go, hey, there's still stuff up here, right? Like, this sim wall
Okay.
is annoying. I don't really want to fight in it. I also don't want to fight on top of the sim. There's not great cover over here, but I can walk over here, and can I go fishing? Can I go fishing for
Okay.
these guys up here? Can I
The
play
guys
back
up there
of
who don't have
point?
a wall.
Exactly. Exactly. You got it.
Okay. She gets a nano, and I think that's where I was like, okay, I need to walk.
Yep. Okay. And we can deal with this, but ultimately, you know, this is the thing where, hey, we didn't make quite enough happen. They were able to stabilize with Simwall. Simwall's a good ult. Coming with the nano, we're sort of in trouble. If we position better, does this go a little bit better for us? Yeah, it does. We can go out here. You've already
So
used...
sorry to interrupt. I was just gonna say,
Please.
so would disengaging from the sim wall there would probably draw her away from the wall or cause her to prioritize something else? which
As
might
long as
cause
your
something
Sigma
more
does
to
too.
happen?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of what we're hoping, to pull her away from her wall, because she's not a super durable hero, right? Like,
No, yeah.
so
I've played sim before. She's pretty much dead as soon as she's caught out.
right, and she didn't really have it. It's like, ooh, Sim Lucio. Okay, good luck. You know, the Lucio
Mhm.
helps. Don't get me wrong, but if she tries to walk towards you guys away from the wall, you're gonna be able to take her. That's not really a big deal as long as she's not pre-ramped, having you at half health, that sort of thing. And there was definitely room
Okay.
to walk away there, to pull yourself again back to here or over to here, where you go, hey, I'm gonna try to pull them out. If I don't get them, I'm just gonna pull back to here, where maybe I'm putting a little pressure on point, have a little bit of cover. Oh, now Sim wants to walk over here. Great, I'll fight her over here. This sort of thing, but that's okay.
Mhm.
You can go, oh, you turn around, and this fight is really probably already over. Okay.
Yeah. I saw the Anna was low and she was calling for help in the voice chat there. That's why
Yep.
I turned around. But
That makes sense.
I should have just kept walking. It was lost.
Yeah, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Of course, soldiers decided to throw some ults.
I will point out here is where I pretty much said I just have to kill her over and over again.
Yeah.
Too much value.
Sorry, you have to what?
I have to kill the Reaper over and over
Oh, yeah.
again. Is
Oh, yeah,
out
that's
here.
gonna happen.
You'll
I
notice my
mean,
gameplay
there's-
change.
Yeah, the reality is he sort of becomes a problem that you have to solve. And we'll take him. Okay, so we decided to push up left side. Let's just go back here for a second. And I'm potentially okay with pushing up left side, but it's always a timing question of, okay, you're pushing left side now, and you're actually pushing with core. So right now you are the main core team, and that's potentially fine, but is this the timing? And I don't mind if you're core, if you paid attention before the other team. It means you're a little less likely to get the elimination, and they're a little more likely to. And I don't mind that. It's not like Winston can't get eliminations on heroes on their team, for example. It's not like Soldier can't get eliminations. But is your team, if you're pulling attention right now, your Soldier's probably still a good 2 seconds, and your Winston's probably still a good 2 to 3 seconds from really being able to engage, aren't they?
Okay, yeah, yep, see that right now. Like, that guy's about mega Winston and Soldier's about high ground.
Right,
So
and the truth is Soldier's going to engage sooner than that because he's going to find Reaper, but we don't know that. So I'd
Yeah.
look at this and I'd go, I don't really want to be fighting a 6v4, a 5v4, whatever, before my guys are ready. Now, I'm okay with them joining a half second, a second after I do, that sort of thing, because them being a little delayed makes their engage stronger, but the longer that we're fighting without them, the weaker we're going to get, and then the more resources they'll have left to deal with them, right? Like that doesn't really work for us. So if we're pushing the engage, this just becomes one of those, and we'll go back to you for a moment here, and we'll go, okay, we're walking up here,
The power of
Watching your
destruction.
and all I know right now is like where my Genji is and where my Ana is. I heard my Ana, I saw my Genji. I have no idea. I have not turned and looked through the walls and seen, well, where's my
Nope.
Soldier, where's my Winston? So I can't really get engagement timing right here because we have multiple groups pushing in different angles, and I don't know where they are. This is just you going, this would be like a newbie Hammond who goes, I'm going to go in as often as I can and disrupt them as much as possible. Well, okay.
Yeah,
you
that
can...
pretty much boils down what I'm doing.
Okay.
Just going for a hook at every cooldown and trying to set up for a hook at every cooldown.
Okay, so you've sort of got to judge, hey, if I go for this hook, I can potentially do that because I've got one-shot potential as Hog, but I don't want to go for hooks at, like, going for a hook by yourself on a surprise angle that they don't know you're on has some possibility of success. I don't hate that. This isn't really a surprise angle. They know you're here. Lucio found you immediately, whatever. But you have some possibility of success of that, and so that's stronger than going from an angle that is known that they know you're on, whatever. But
They've seen Genji on, they've seen on, oh, all of a sudden Hog's over here. We're already looking here, less likely to work.
right. So what really becomes the question is, if you were going fishing for this when your Winston and your Soldier were still 7-10 seconds away from engaging, I'd have no issue whatsoever unless you were just feeding a ton of ult charge and trying to do so. If it's a surprise angle, you shouldn't feed a ton of ult charge though. But now you're going to go for your hook. They all have their abilities and their attention available to deal with you, so you're not likely to get the elimination off of the hook, though you certainly could. And then you're not going to have your hook. Your hook's going to be a good 5 seconds off
actual
of
fight.
cooldown for the actual... Exactly. You've got it. You've got it.
Yep.
So we can
so
go...
when fights are like kind of on the stem of breaking, unless you have like a surprise hook where you're like, okay, I hit this, they die.
Right.
Pretty much save it for a better opportunity where you know you're gonna get the elim because maybe your team's there to help you shoot at the target or something.
You got
else.
it. We like to go fishing from surprise angles when our team isn't around. That's perfectly fine. But if our team is going to be ready to engage in the next few seconds, we'd really rather go, hey, let me sort of be the engage as my team is ready to go in type thing. Or if you want a different angle, let your team go in and you follow up type thing rather than going fishing first. But okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, you just didn't read the Winston right there in terms of you were trying to hard hold right, but you're going, oh, I need room to hard hold right, so let me move left for a second, and he's gonna find those.
Yeah. Yep, it made sense. I also tried to go up against that wall so I couldn't just get smacked off.
Yep.
But
Roadhog, right.
yeah, I definitely misread. I didn't even think he had primal. I wasn't thinking about it at all. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought I could kind of like burst him down, get rid of his abilities, and then hook him when he went for the jump. But
I hear ya. Good. Okay. So, like, I look at this, and I'm pretty good with you working on Lucio here with your click damage. Like, yes, you
you
wanted
wouldn't go
Lucio,
for the hook.
but now that Reinhardt's here, like, is this Lucio actually close to eliminated?
No, not a chance.
So, like, he doesn't
And he's
really...
much harder to hit.
Right, like, hey, wait a second, why are we on Lucio when there's a Symmetra who is going to become a problem very quickly, or a Reinhardt who is kind of a problem now, right?
Yeah, I think this is where I got like a little bit of tunnel vision. You know, I saw the Lucio, I started going for the Lucio. I was like,
Yep.
my God, I'm gonna kill this Lucio.
Right, and we definitely need to fix that, because it's the sort of
Yep.
thing where Lucio is, you know, if we were thinking about, like, oh, we're trying to win a point, we're trying to unlock it, if Lucio's just there for you, you take him out, but when you have your...
I had to pick, yeah.
Right, if
If
you
I
have
had to
to...
pick like a least useful hero on their team, it's usually pretty much Lucio.
Something along those lines, yeah. I'm not quite sure I'd
Yeah.
call him the least useful, but he's the least impactful to early remove in some ways. Yes, so...
Yeah, he's the least likely to make some turning pick.
Right. And maybe if you're like, he's at 90% to beat, I gotta get him right now. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
gonna...
or we're about a nano blade, then you fish for him, but...
Maybe. But
Yeah.
as a general rule, the Sim or this Reinhardt are both more likely. The Sim is more dangerous and more likely, but the Reinhardt's a pretty easy hook, so take your pick.
This will restore you.
You didn't make the cut.
Objective A.
Right now, instead of sitting on point, would have been better if I'd started going out that left door and
Exactly.
out that
You'd
left
already
side.
be going this way.
Yeah, that's
Fortunately,
where I'd be wanting to go.
you
Okay.
got it. Perfect. I'm glad you recognize it.
I don't need to sit on point. I'm one of the least useful people as far as
You
just sitting there
absolutely
when I
push
could
ahead
get
as
it.
part of the stagger
Yeah.
team, the forward poke team. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Tuck left. Okay. They backed off so you can push forward.
I'm taking
I don't
wide
really love that
angles.
you're in the middle
Yeah.
here, though. Like, I look at
I'm
this and...
taking a real wide angle.
Right, and I
Wide peak.
could live with a wide angle if it was, like, over here or a wide angle over here, maybe, but, like, you have
Yeah.
cover on those wide angles. These are just wide peaks,
Here I'm
which
just
I'm like...
standing behind a bus in a wall.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Good. We're gonna get Reaper. We're gonna miss Reaper. Okay. I can live with this, but ultimately, I don't still want to be down here. Like, even as this was happening, I was accepting you shooting this way because Reaper, but I'm even still thinking about, okay, now I've got to go for a reload cycle. Let me use my reload cycle to get over here type thing. Like,
Use the reload cycle, the hook cooldown to move towards a mega, maybe top off that way, save your E if you do take damage on the rotate, and then set up for another play.
You're putting it together, exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense when you're saying it to me, but like I said,
Well, you have to train these habits.
His role.
Right,
Yeah.
you have to train these habits one thing at a time, because, like, I've, explained it and you're here and you're like, okay, now I sort of get it, but you have to train these habits one thing at a time in order for them to stick, because we're building them into your autopilot. That's how we ultimately make you successful here.
Yep. There, that was a very long stagger process of me trying to get back to the team because I was
Sure.
in a position. Okay.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Here, I thought that would be a good play to try and go main because it would give them more space to go out the outside, but I recognized it was a bad play.
Okay, as long as you recognize it, yeah, the reality is you going over here creates a lot more pressure, and you can sort of sustain, sort of get out from over here, and as they peel out to chase you, now your team pushes them from behind and they get pincered. Now your team won't really push them from behind, and they won't really get pincered, but it's nice to have dreams. It's nice to have
Yeah,
dreams.
it's nice to at least set up the correct place.
Yeah.
That maybe someday it'll work. Yeah, a little late on the E.
Yeah, it's life.
Now we make the adjustment.
Hello there.
This is like really solid comps for OpenQ. I'm surprised. Like, both teams are opting into this.
Yeah, there was a lot of the same players that night that I was playing, and I actually played with that Dab for Life guy 3 times in a row.
Got it. Okay.
Into position.
So I think we were all try-harding on each other by this point.
Got it. That makes sense then. Okay, Reaper has no wraiths, so you decide to push. This is one of those moments where, yes, you would recognize that shatters are a possibility because, hey, you haven't seen it in a bit. You're rotating
I haven't
across
seen him
open.
pull up shield in a while.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Get down.
And you were actually safe, but you walked back into it. Oh well.
Yep.
Okay. You just go for Mega, and then you rotate back out. And this is still turnable, no longer turnable. Okay. So, now we get into a bit of a macro question. Aha, I'm gonna push this. How many of your teammates are here?
I was thinking I didn't really need them. I didn't really execute this the way I intended to.
Oh yeah, you want to
when
send tanks off the edge. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm going for, and I should have
course.
rotated hard to that left and held that corner so I
Mhm.
have a better angle at him and I have cover.
Yeah,
That
where's
was what was
Anna?
going through my
Where's Anna,
brain
and what's
here.
the status of her sleep dart?
Exactly. None of that went through my brain. I saw 2 tanks by a corner that could go environmental, and I clicked Q.
Okay, but even if you weren't thinking about Anna and the status of her sleep dart, she's less likely to be able to sleep dart you if your team is in this fight, right? Because
Yes.
she's more likely to need her sleep dart for something else, or using her sleep dart to answer your ult. Yeah, it's a bad trade for you, but hey, now she doesn't have her sleep dart, and your Genji
Ult is-
goes, ooh,
yeah.
free Anna, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So, like, this is the
At
sort
least
of
then, if they do use resources to counter me, the resources are used and it's beneficial, versus now they have free resources to counter me and no one's here to take advantage of it.
right. So you're effectively forcing a 4v2, 3v2, yeah, whatever. While, wait a second, if we wait just like one more second, we've got 5 people here. You just eliminated 1. This is the sort of thing where you were just over here a second ago, literally could have turned to look, and it cost you effectively nothing to turn to look to see through walls where your team is, and then you go for the same play. And might that mean that there isn't a ball standing right here by the edge that looks quite as juicy? Yeah, it might, but like, so what? Like, okay, Ryan, have fun with your shield. I've
One
got
kill
Hog.
on the main tank is just as effective when you have your team there.
You got it. Okay,
Okay.
cool.
So, less big plays where you're trying to carry the fight yourself necessarily. Let your team be relied upon. And
Well,
go for
the
small
thing
plays
is,
that,
even if you're trying to carry your team, you need your team to be a distraction. Like, even if every
Yeah.
one of your team members are bots that are only getting 70% of the value of their mirrors, you still need to use them as a distraction. Like, I don't need you guys to get any kills. I literally just need you guys to, like, draw some level of
people look at
attention.
you.
Exactly.
Okay. Again, probably shouldn't have been walking up on the wall there. Just wait it out.
Yeah, we look at this wall, and it's the sort of thing where we're going like this. It's a little unfortunate, but we're still okay. We're not down people. We potentially tried to hook this away. They've just used two ults. Okay. I hope Genji gets out, but I'm sort of done with this, where I'm sort of like, I'm just not walking into, like, yes, we have Blade going, but there's a minefield, there's a sim wall. Nah, we're done with this. I'll use this time. Forget it. I'll use this time to go rotate. I'll be late,
over
but,
there.
like,
Yeah.
give me something better to do than walking
And just
into...
feed charge in the front.
Yeah. Fortunately, we're going to do it. Great. Okay. Ball before Lucio is fine. I'm a little surprised that we didn't have a solution ready there. Yeah, your hook is now up, and, like, his path was
I should have hooked right
obvious.
here.
Right, like, he
Yeah.
has to come through a doorway. It's kind of free.
Just watch. Yeah, okay. Kind of bad.
Yeah, I mean, he's fast. Like, Ball is a big target for hooking, but he's fast, so you do sort of want to find moments where either he's lost his momentum or his path is predictable because doorways, things like that. Okay, you're not actually going to stand on cart, right? Right? Like, we just
Yeah.
wiped their team. Yeah, we might have lost some people. No, we didn't even. Like, we're good. We've got everyone stacked on cart, 4 on cart. I desperately need to be over here going, I dare you guys to push forward, right?
Yeah, this is just me being a diamond and not wanting anyone to jump on first or go behind my team somehow throw this. So it's me not trusting and being
Okay. If you go forward, I mean, you know, you could hook someone, eliminate the... okay, we'll deal.
No, I'm saying that this is me being bad.
Got it.
That was what was going through.
Got
my
it.
mind.
I
I'm
thought you
not
were saying
letting
you
my
didn't
team
trust
throw
your
this.
teammates because it's diamond and you thought people might get off the card. Okay.
No. I'm saying that I didn't trust my teammates because that's just something that was in my brain right there. It's
Got it.
yourself.
Got it. Okay. I don't necessarily
I don't
know that
why
we
I
hooked that.
there.
Yeah,
I don't
like,
know why.
right-click
couldn't
pressure
tell you.
here was fine.
Yeah.
You even canceled your reload for it. Okay. Probably don't want to walk at this, but Reinhardt does. Interesting. Just hold your left corner. Literally hold your left corner. Get out of the middle of the lane. Literally just stand right here and shoot right clicks.
Where I can just wiggle right and left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. sure.
This will heal you. 60 seconds.
Good. Leave. Good. If you do that, that's life.
I thought about ult there, but my health was too low.
Yeah, no,
so
you
I
did
went
the right
back.
thing. You did the right thing.
Okay.
The truth is, you did have time probably because of who you were up against to do that.
Yeah,
But it
Rhyme.
was a very near thing, so I
Okay.
get it. Okay. You're just totally like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, a little bit of just like, okay, where's everyone? What's going on? Where are we at?
Sure. So this happens, and I get it. You just got lost here in terms of where anything was, and now you're choosing to
Yeah.
walk on the Reinhardt. I don't
Which isn't
necessarily.
as-
I don't necessarily need to walk on this Reinhardt. I actually kind of just want to be like, I'm going to continue to hold some degree of threat over here, some degree of threat over here. I don't really want to be in the middle, because now you're again sort of relying on maybe Moira and Breather will keep me alive, and these guys are coming to come out of their different spawns and pressure me from different sides. I'd sort of rather be able to have my own pressure on them. They have to run into point, because we already have
They
someone
have to
moving
come
point.
to me. They have to go to point. They have to choose a direction to go to, etc., etc.
You got it.
Okay. I actually have a question about what I tried to go for right there.
Sure.
This that sometimes works, but it really most of the time doesn't. Where you just walk into their face and hook.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason for why it doesn't work sometimes? It's just how they're holding the shield, like what angle. I can walk through shield sometime and just kill, you know?
I mean, I expect that the interaction here is pretty consistent, but here you can see he's got that between you. He had the
Yeah,
shield
he managed
between
to
you
step
and him.
an inch back to get
Right.
it. Okay.
So that's all that's going on there.
Okay.
And imagine how much, like, you wouldn't
How
have done
better
quite as much
position
damage
I
to
would
the
be in.
ride, but you'd have like 300 more HP if you'd just been over here and been like,
And
I'm going
still
to
my
destroy that
breather.
turret. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just sat there and managed.
Rocket barrage incoming.
Okay. Cool. Good. Okay, so this has definitely so far been an exercise in we got to think more about taking different paths, taking different lanes, and also some about timing, but those would definitely be the main two things that we're looking at here, which really isn't too surprising for a Roadhog. I mean, that's sort of hit your hooks, get your angles right, get your timing right. That's a lot of the basis of Roadhog fundamentals, so good.
Okay.
Let's move on to a little bit further here.
5, 4.
Okay, so where does your team set up? This is something you should know.
They're
I
set up
fast forwarded.
split. Yeah.
They are set up split. That is fine. Where is your tank buddy? Your tank buddy is
Spawn.
Cap.
Or, no, right there. Yeah.
Attackers incoming.
Okay, staring into the distance, going, okay, look at this city. Okay, cool. So you can do this. You've got some options as Roadhog. You could set up here. That's not the end of the world. If they try to come through with their own, Ryan Zarya type thing, Reinhardt type thing, you might be like, yes, I'm here, and we're making it hard for you to advance. But I look at your team and go, you have a Reinhardt and a Junkrat, and Anna has line of sight on them. Does this need
They're not
any
getting
more
through this
reinforcement?
door. No,
Exactly.
Zero. Junk could hold this with the shield by himself, pretty much.
Basically. So, I'm pretty interested in, hey, I'm going to listen, I'm going to watch my team. When it looks like my team is when I think my team is just about to be in combat based on sound cues, based on timing, I'm going to walk up here, and I'm going to yoink an Anna out of their backline and take her out type thing, right?
Okay.
This is just
Yeah.
better.
No,
And-
that's a better angle than what I actually end up doing here, because I walk through and use our Anna's bait.
Got it.
But if I was actually just set up on the right, why do I need to use bait? I have a free mega over there.
Well,
I
your
have
bait
a
is the
perfect
core that
angle.
they're going to push, right? Okay. And now you've established you're here, and they probably don't want to push. They're going to push. Okay. Okay. Reinhardt feeds a little.
Somebody walks through shield, but probably should have held hook there.
Oh, this is legendarily foolish. Okay, cool. You know, there's a Lucio on this other team. These stairs are just
Yeah,
not
yeah,
safe.
All this is close to death.
Okay, we're gonna reload. Good. And now you're just gonna anchor point. Okay, good.
Enemy contact. Is there yet? I've left.
Just pretty standard there, I think.
Yeah, no, nothing too wild there.
Okay. And this time, really, I've shown my hand up here. I should be right by now.
You should be right by now is really the right answer. You could even go like, hey, I'm gonna peek from here, but it's too late. You could have peeked from here a little earlier to sort of establish yourself here, and then go on a long kite path. It would be long, but you could sort of remind them, I'm here, and then actually be somewhere else. But they're too close already. Yeah, this is no dice. You're feeding. Now they recognize that they can push now.
Charge there.
Yeah. Okay. You're gonna walk. You correct to walk when he does that. Yeah, that's fine. Nice of him to miss that rock.
Very, very charitable, I would say. Ana didn't, really use sleep either, so that was nice.
But again, like, it wasn't going to bother me if any of those things hit you, because your team still should have...
already had won the fight.
Exactly. Yeah. Pushed over that. Okay, you're killing me. Leave. Rotate. Even if you now go... Okay, fine. Okay. Do you hear them under you?
I hear them under me. I was the one you called out right now. Right about...
Right.
Now I called out,
and I'm pretty happy to circle behind them. Like, as soon as you heard that, you can circle behind them, but instead you're.
I could just go out their door and draw. Oh yeah, that would have been really.
And again, right as they push out to your front line, you go, yeah. Now that you've all pushed it or started to push into here, you hook their Ana from behind, their McCree from behind, whatever's their type thing.
Whoever's sitting there in the door, healing them, thinking they're safe.
Right. Lucio? Really? And all this, Lucio is going to be our...
Is going to be who I decide, yeah. I'm really to say there.
I'm going to say no to this one. Like, yeah.
Well, both dudes sitting on to the right, that would be great to pull out right now. Reaper would have been great. Okay, here's actually a moment where I have to ask a question. Is that good timing on that hook? Like, I feel like his beat's gonna run out right now.
Well, his beat actually is pretty much over. So yeah, I can live with this hook. I was thinking he still had more beat.
I was watching him through the beat, watching it go down. I'm like, okay, beat's about to disappear.
This is fine. It's a little tough because what you run into is he's gonna be tough to one-shot without any other damage on him. Like, it's a 250 health hero. You're usually looking for him to have taken any damage. That's why usually
like
with him it's
damage at least. Yeah.
Right. You're like, hey, let me get some right click, hook, left click type stuff. Anything for Reaper. This is going to be tough, but you can beat him at this level.
Yeah, that's where I was going to ask you why this didn't one-shot, is because you didn't have any prior damage, and I was a little off on the aim, right?
Yep. Okay. You didn't have... Basically, you are most of the time going to need some level of extra damage on him, and you've been... Yeah.
I one-shot Reaper pretty consistently, I feel like.
You do.
That's why I thought I could do it. But
yeah, but any extra health is going to be enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Any rally armor will absolutely destroy it. Beat health will make it basically shut you down. Yeah.
No hook damage makes it almost... Because he can do like 300, I think. You do it right.
Yeah.
You have to do it right.
And we're going to do it right every time. Because remember, if you don't get him, you have a Reaper in your face, which is...
Exactly.
Okay, so we're going to stage right side. Cool, not yet. Okay, so you're fishing early, fine. And now you leave. And that's fine, you have another exit. Okay, so this was just you being slow on your reaction. So, hey, we got
slow
this.
On the reaction time.
Boom, we do this. We see this. Oh, there's a wall. No problem. I'm already walking this way because I know that she can't possibly be there, and she's not freezing me yet. and we're sort of walking into walls instead, and now you're in trouble because you can't breathe her out of this. She's just going to freeze you. And now you breathe her, but ultimately it's going to be trouble. So I don't mind that you went for this hook. This is really a case of you were slowing the reaction. Fine, and now we circle through right side. You have to circle right. Why are you here? Why are you here? Okay.
Don't circle right side. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But
It's
didn't
okay. I
happen.
mean, your fair is pummeling damage from this side. You could be pummeling damage from this side, and it would look pretty
But there is
good.
no
but
shield.
yeah.
Know about him now. Really just trying pretty much always off this road.
Basically, yeah.
Definitely
Basically,
times where you have to main, but
yeah. Like you might be going, "Hey, Genji's about to nano blade. I'm gonna sit a little closer to my team to whole hog for it." But mostly, you're looking to play that flank hog style, unless they are truly consistently isolating you, surrounding you, and diving you type stuff.
like you're getting antied and then you just get collapsed on
Right.
a running dive or something. Maybe
Right.
let you main a little bit more.
You got it. You got it.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen. What we hope with a thank you.
So my reaction to this was probably not to go, oh yeah, this sucks, I'm going to go main. My reaction to this was probably to go, I'm still not wanting to chase the Reaper out and have hook, but I can go over
Right.
here and I bet I'll...
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep. Don't chase the person who can one-shot you when you don't have hook, but hey, don't go
True.
main.
That is true.
Don't just default.
That was a little panicky. You're just totally in the open. You're in the direction that all their eyes are
Auto.
looking from. Yeah.
Nano boost administered.
Walk through here, sure. Okay. Okay, too aggressive without... Yeah, there you go. I don't know that I need to retreat quite this hard, though. Like, I go here, I like this. I want you to back a little bit because, hey, I don't want to get rocked. They have beat, this sort of thing. We hit our reload. But I'm probably going to turn around and re-peek it right now because my hook
Okay.
cooldown's going to be back. Yeah, like, they have beat health, and I don't like that. But I don't really want to spend the time to establish a new angle right now. Like, I could go, yes, I'm going to establish this. Is this angle that different from the angle
It's
that
not
you had
better,
before?
Really. It's just farther away.
Right. So your other option is to go back main, which is like, well, okay, I'm probably just going to want to walk back this way, and it's time to do that. You could wait one more second before doing it, but I'm just going to do it now because my team is having to weather this beat and now this blizzard by themselves, and I don't really like fighting into the beat, but my team has to weather it anyways, so I might as well help them.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
you're in
appreciate
Reaper
push it in here.
hunting mode, and you go, I wanted to go get the Reaper, and that's cool and all, but, like, you know, it would have been pretty easy for us to get another thing back here. Maybe it would have been the
Yeah.
Sigma. Maybe it
Take
would have
out
been...
Lucio there, they have no heals. Odds are we come back out and hold.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Okay. Sure, there are threats in the main killing our team, but if we remove the backline in the meantime, I'll still be alive. Instead of dead like I am now.
Right,
and
you
we'll
could
be in a better
take out their Sigma, you could pull their Reinhardt back into his own backline and be like, this is fun. You know, all sorts of things.
Have
you
fun
can do.
walking back.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, now you're going to go control high ground because it's the rotation that matters. Please go control high ground. Please
Nope.
go control high ground. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
I've been doing it.
Okay, we go for some hook turn tech. Sure.
Missing some shots.
Yeah, you didn't have great targets.
I'm under attack.
I'm
Okay.
trying to get them to split this angle right now.
Yeah, no, I get what you're going for.
What we hope with a
You have to fight him, yeah. He's gonna do Sigma things, because of course he is.
Use raw.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Just do it.
mostly just life. You had the right idea. I can object if I want to. Hey, you re-peaked to this angle too soon when they were paying attention to it. You didn't have adequate distraction. You should have rotated up to the high ground angle earlier.
Optimal,
but
yeah, optimal
these
would
are
have been moving to the high ground. Like, given what I did, optimal would have been just sitting on high ground for a couple more seconds, maybe going for hook and then doing the rotate.
Yep, that could have been fine.
Okay.
But ultimately, that's pretty minor. Like, those are
Okay.
definitely, yeah, those help. Those are slight pathing, slight adjustments, but those aren't things where it's like, ah, yes, you absolutely have to understand this to hugely miss your gameplay. It's like, nah, there's the bigger deal stuff that we've got here that we can definitely put more focus on than slight micropathing adjustments in terms of, oh, it's this much attention versus this much attention. Let's...
More like mostly the main thing is don't go main right now. It
Yep,
looks like.
Well, again, I wanted you pre-holding high ground for that rotation, because
Yeah.
if you're pre-holding high ground, they can't rotate through high ground, you can drop behind them, or likely someone is
Instant
going to come
cover
high
that you can
ground.
adjust. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Removes about half of his hitbox, which is pretty significant.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you just decided to
That
go
was
here.
lost as fuck, yeah.
Yeah, you just decided to go here, and you see this, and we go, I don't really like the Orisa, so I guess I'm going to go somewhere else. Cool, cool.
And I'm like, oh, I don't like all this damage coming in. I'm gonna go somewhere else.
Cool. Okay, that was nice that we got that last second.
No, that Reaper pick was very handy, I say.
Calculated.
No luck involved. It was all 180.
Calculated.
You know, I
You
played
knew
Genji.
exactly. You knew exactly where he was gonna be, how much health it
Yep.
was. You planned 10 seconds ago that that's what you were gonna do.
Oh yeah, that's what I was actually looking for when I was looking left and right, looking real lost. Was totally just planning out the Reaper.
Exactly. So here we are, and you capped this, and here's something that we get into when you cap this. So there's a little bit of a difference. Did you late stagger this team or anything? Like, if you look at when
I
people
late
got
staggered
eliminated...
I late staggered the Reaper a little bit, but they're pretty much all gonna spawn on that close spawn. It's gonna be a 6v6.
Right. It's going to be basically a 6v6. You're all here. I don't really want to push ahead like this. I'm good pushing ahead consistently and going, hey, I want a forward firing platform. I want to put some poke. I want to look for staggers. But we're not really looking for staggers right here. We're just getting our early poke. So I want to be ready to
Okay.
back out of this pretty
You'd
safely,
be on
pretty
that
early.
corner.
Yeah, exactly. On the corner going that. Or I'd have said, I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm
Just
going to
take
wait a
the
second.
good rotate.
And exactly. Exactly. You have to leave, you have to. Okay.
That would be something to pay attention to, is how quickly you eliminated, how long it took you to come
Absolutely.
back.
Because it changes whether you're pushing for staggers, whether you're pushing for a forward hold, which forward hold you get, and which rotation route you can take to cause, you know, yourself to be how late, because how late can you justify being? Like, absolutely
Yep.
that you pay attention to when their last limb happened versus did you lose anyone.
Here I'm just dying.
Yeah, no, I get it. They come back with their respawn. You guys had nothing in terms of map control. Yeah, that was...
And that's the end of Hog of the replay.
Okay. We haven't gone terribly over or anything, so let's continue through and see in this open queue what you do on your last hero here before we talk about sort of in review your Hog here.
We just go bunker.
Ready for
Okay.
battle. Ready for battle.
Got yourself a bunker, pharmacy bastion. It's a little interesting. Okay.
4, 3, 2.
This is my, out of the main heals I play Zen, Baptiste, and Lucio. I'd say Baptiste is my weakest.
Okay.
So, you know.
Over here.
Not a problem.
Got you good as new.
Ooh,
Should be
interesting.
looking at my Bastion, yeah.
Yeah, so, well, I don't mind that you're not looking at your Bastion, actually. I don't need you looking at your Bastion. Your Bastion has a shield. Your Bastion's fine. You already popped your
Okay.
shift. That's not really what's bothering me. What I'm more interested in is that health bar right over there that's warning me that it's low, and I just saw your Ryan get pinned. And I'm looking at
Okay.
this and going, hey,
Start shooting right clicks over there. Or
forget that. I
immorts.
can lamp over here. Like, you might be thinking,
Okay.
no, my lamp is specifically for my Bastion, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yep.
want to lose anyone. Like, I don't really want to lose anyone. If we lose anyone, this fight gets way harder. And I can throw a lamp over here, especially if I see my Reinhardt take even a single another step this way. I'm willing to lamp this, I guess, is where I'm going here, is long story short. But that's okay. We go like this. Now there's this here. Now this lamp makes a whole lot of sense. There's a Reaper in your face. So yeah, we'll lamp ourselves.
And then I fell off.
Yeah.
This is not the end.
Pick yourself up. Dust yourself off.
Well, they don't have any boobs, I'll grant you that.
Can't just get pushed off the edge, otherwise this would be really bad.
I'm looking for that Lucio and that Hammond, and it's not on the other team, so okay.
Healing stream.
Sure.
Shoot to heal.
So here we are. We're doing this. I would like to be weaving sooner, so with BAP, it's really all about the weaving, and I'm looking at this, and this is fine,
where
you have no
shoot,
healing to do.
Shoot, heal.
Yeah, this should absolutely be, oh, my Sigma took damage? Cool. I'll double tap left click and then single tap right click, and then I'll go back to, I'll do from there, I can keep weaving. I can go one left click, one right click, two left clicks, one right click, that sort of thing. Those would be some of the weaves that we'd hit. If everyone's full health, I'll just keep mashing left click, but I don't want to later, when Sigma gets weaker, feel the need to go right click, right click, right click,
You
right
don't want
click.
to catch up. You want
Right.
to be ahead.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's just not a reason to, because now you're
now
going
I
to feel
started
like you have to,
Yeah.
Shoot to heal.
right, you just went double right click and you used your shift, and your shift wasn't really for you, it was for your Sigma, which isn't great, and this was all avoidable if you just spent one more right click earlier.
I just spent a little bit of time actually keeping up. Okay.
Yep.
60 seconds.
Okay.
remaining.
I don't need you in front of your Sigma, okay.
The immort, I didn't feel scared, I guess.
Yeah, I get it. Cool.
Was you or me, brother?
Okay.
Thanks.
Cool. And now we just win this next fight. Okay.
Yep. Pretty much.
My ultimate is ready.
Thirty seconds remaining.
Are they really going to walk through 6 feet? No, okay, only 5 people in one direction. Good. Window? Window? Why are we so late with this? Okay.
This is rocket launch incoming.
10 seconds remaining.
Hop up. Okay. I'd have said hop up on the other side, but sure. Okay. Window's late. Don't forget to weave. Not really worried about your or not really worried about your
Yeah,
BAP.
not the
We're-
main focus here.
What we're worried about is your hog, and we pretty early identified what was going to be important for you, and then we hit on it a lot of times because I wanted to give you lots of examples, and I wanted to make sure it really sunk in here. And as we go through that, that's going to be, hey, you want to make sure that you understand what. Obviously, I'll repeat this again, but I want to sort of hear from you, maybe in your words, what seemed important in this review that we just went through.
Okay, so what the notes that I wrote down as like bullet points for things to focus on. Pretty much all the value on Hog is from angles and timing. Pretty much every fight you're gonna walk on some type of flank. Should be challenging off lanes after you're a pick. If you're not up, just back up. They just like get some tempo back, I guess I'd say.
I don't know that I'm always going to say after a pick, just walk back. Like, yes, there's this situation where you might get a pick and then retreat. That's especially going to be true if you got a pick before a fight and your team isn't ready because you were going fishing early. That's also
That's kind of what I was meaning there. Is
Okay.
if we don't have numbers with us, like it's kind of like me and no one else, then
Got
just
it.
back up. Even if you get a pick, like sure, you fragged a pick, good job, leave.
Right, yes. But there's going to be other times where it is the 6v6 and you just got the pick and now it's the 5v6. And if your team isn't on its heels, if your team isn't down a bunch of cooldowns and health, you're going to walk even without your hook because you want to.
You still have damage to do.
Right. You've still got right clicks. You've still got value in this fight. And you don't want to go, I got the pick and now let me remove myself for 7 seconds. So it's a 5v5 again. Like, wait a second. That doesn't make sense. Okay, you got it then. That's fine.
Yep.
Okay.
Go fishing from surprise angles when your team isn't around, but when your team is ready to go in, make sure you have hook to follow up on them.
Okay.
Another one I wrote down.
Okay.
Look around before you try and go for plays. Make sure you know where your team is.
Cool.
Another one I wrote down.
Cool.
And then don't be afraid to come from the enemy spawn. The
So
other one I put down.
that all makes sense, but I can't have you work on 8 things. And it's possible we could combine some of those points, but like what I'd want you to do here is I'd really want you walking out with like 1 to 2 things, maybe 3 things to sort of that you can mentally sort of create a framework around that you can keep track of, because you're not going to go, okay, let me go through my checklist of 8 things before I start the game. Okay, I've got them. Now let me play. Well, if you do a checklist of 8 things before you play the game, congratulations, you're going to implement 0 of them. So 1 to 2 is what we're looking for. So how can we shape these either into 1 to 2 things, and really we're going to work on 1 at a time, or or what of those are the most important? What seems like that to you?
Take off angles, number 1. Number 2, I would say is, let me think carefully about this. I get would take off angles would include just don't default main in it, because that's the other big one that I got from this.
Yeah, take off angles would include don't default main because your team is going to default main.
I
don't care if you walk main if your team goes somewhere else, because main is no longer main. It's a different angle.
It's no longer main. Yeah.
Right.
Time your engages, I say, would be the second one.
Yeah, angles and timing. Congratulations, we've broken down Overwatch. But yes, I think that's right, and I think that's what we want to do. But I wanna like unpack the off angles thing a little bit more, because I don't mind if you have that as off angles. Off angles is the point, but I sort of want you to explain that to me a little more. And you can do this in more words now. That's fine. I don't need this to be like 1 sentence. But I want you to explain that, because I need to know what that means to you, because those are sort of my words, and you might not feel like that. You might be like, no, these are my words, and I totally get that. And you might, but I need to know that. So I sort of need you to explain this better. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So as far as I mean by take off angles, I'm referring to take areas where there's not previously expected areas of aggression. Okay, they're not looking already at that area for Genji, or looking at that for like Bastion that just peeked the area. So ideally it would be a fresh angle. Obviously not always going to have fresh angles to pick from. But
I would say that's true that it's a fresh angle. What you're describing is a fresh angle, not an off angle. An off angle is simply a different angle, right?
Yeah, I'd say preferably the off angle would be fresh, but specifically the off angle is another line where you have an angle at the team where they can't look at you and be looking at your team at the same time.
Love it. Love it. Okay, perfect. And then when do you get these off angles?
You try and set up for these off angles when your hook is off cooldown, or you're down breather, when you're kind of low on resources, a good time to set up, or before the fight breaks out, when your team is still kind of getting together to go main.
Okay. And if like your team is still good, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 10 seconds away, and you have a fresh angle, should you hook? Should you wait? What makes sense to do?
I would say there you could hook. You could, if you see an open target there, you could hook, but then you'd have to back up to kind of try and reset the engage. Maybe you could put them down one in there, but that's not a time where you commit. That's a time where you use hook.
Sure.
Back up, wait for your hook, make sure that you have enough time. Your team's still far enough away that your hook comes back off cooldown if you are going to take that hook.
Sure.
So you have it for the fight. But yeah, I would say you could take that hook.
Okay.
10 seconds.
Cool. I like it. Your answer isn't a 100% answer there, because the truth is that's not a 100% thing, where it's like, hey, you can definitely go for that hook in a lot of situations, but ultimately, okay, how much poke do they have? Are you going to feed, 500 health?
Who's right in front of me? Is there an Ana and Mei and McCree all sitting there with a Lucio to speed boost him at me, etc.?
Perfect. Okay, I like it. I think you've got some good things to work on here. These will definitely
would
help you if
agree.
you can work on them one thing at a time. Make off angles your focus. Really go, hey, I want to be on a different path. I want to be on a different path. I want to be on a different path. And then once you feel like that stick, that's part of the autopilot. Maybe that takes 5 games. Maybe that takes 50 games. But you sort of want it to be using part of your brain power. You don't want to try to do everything at once because you don't want your hook accuracy to suffer. You don't want your
You don't want
decision
70%
of
of your brain power be the things you're working on, and 30% be playing the game.
no, you do need to mostly be playing the game, is unfortunately,
Yeah.
because otherwise you'll start developing bad habits because you're not thinking about, your breather use, like you're just using your breather with 0 effort, or you're not tracking their ults at all, that sort of thing. You don't want everything else to fall off. So like 5 to 10% of your brain power, see what we can work in there, get it sort of locked in. Once that's locked in, you'd start to move over to, okay, now that I'm on these off angles, let me just start looking through walls at where my teammates are, and let me start judging when I think they're going to engage, that sort of thing. But yeah. Okay.
No, this was very helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. Then do you have any final questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to go over?
If it's already something I'm working on, would it be a little bit much to keep trying to focus while focusing on taking off angles and the engagement timing to focus on being tighter to those corners? Because it is something that I am working on. It's just something that
I'd say keep working on it for a little bit because I can see
Okay.
there's definitely room to improve there. So I'd say
Exactly.
take what's here, and the reality is your off angling is going to be more important than your corner play, but you're already working on the corners, and the corners are important. So keep working on those corners for, another couple days, and then sort of check in on yourself and feel like, is this automatic yet? And one of the
Yeah.
ways to check if it's automatic or not is to start working on the next topic and then see if your corner holding gets worse. And if it does, go back to the corner holding and say, no, I'll come back to you later off angles.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No problem, man. No problem. Then I will see you next